Section 4.7 has to do with triangles and coordinate proofs. And these are not the kind of proofs you're thinking of. They're way easier. You're actually just putting the triangles on a coordinate plane, but not necessarily giving a constant value to something. This is an example. It says position and label a right triangle XYZ with leg XZ D units long on a coordinate plane. So one way we could do that, there's my coordinate plane, and I want a right triangle, so I'll just go ahead and do it like this. And I have, let's see, XZ is one of the legs, so XZ I can put here, and I can put Y there, and I know it's a right triangle. And this is D units long, so I know the distance from here to here is D units, so that's my X. And I would go over 0 points. So the value for Z would be D0. Now, I don't know whether that XZ lies on the X-axis or whether it lies on the Y-axis. So, technically, I could turn around and say this is XZ and this is XY, and that's my right triangle. So now when it says XZ is D units, I know that the point for Z would be 0 on the X because I've gone over 0, but then the distance from here to here would be D units. So that's like your Y value, how far up you go. Remember, X is horizontal, Y is vertical. So if I'm talking about D units vertically, then my Y value would be D. If I'm talking D units horizontally, then my X value would be D. A lot of times what they'll do is they'll put triangles on a coordinate plane, and you'll have to name the missing points based on the information they gave you. So they say that this is an isosceles triangle. It's an isosceles right triangle, so I'll put the right angle right there. Isosceles means that that side is going to be congruent to that side. I already know that this E value is 0A. So this is A units up. So if it's an isosceles triangle, this should have to be A units over. So G is located at A0 because I'm going to go up 0 units. So this value here is A, and this value here is A. Here, it's how far right and left I go, so that's A units over, so that's my X. Here, it's up and down, so that's my Y. It's A units up. And of course you know what F is. F right here is located at 0, 0. So let's come over here. I have an isosceles right triangle here. It's just drawn a little bit different on the graph. If I know that it's an isosceles triangle, I know that those two sides are congruent. It's told me that this is C units over, because that's the point C0. So I've gone over C, which means this has to be up C. So I know that the Y value here is C. Do I know what the X value is? I do. I've gone over C units, so that is the point C, C. I've gone over C and I've gone up C. So my X is C, my Y is also C. This point right here is going to be 0, 0. Let's do a few more here. It's kind of hard to make this hard. Okay, I know that my R is 0, 0. I'm plugging in my missing ordered pairs. I know that this Q, they've already told me, is A0. But I don't know, it doesn't have congruency marks on it. So I don't know that that's A units up. So I just pick a different letter. And I go, this is the point 0, B. Now B could be the same as A, but we don't know that for sure because I don't have a congruency mark on it. This one, I do have congruency marks. This is the point 0C. This is the point 2A0, so I've gone over 2A here. I would go over the same amount here, but I go in a negative direction, so I call it a negative to a 0. So it's like equivalent on both sides. This one is very similar. I have congruency marks on that. If I've gone over here to negative a 0, then over to here, so this is a units, this would also be a units. So I have the point a 0. Now this n, I know it's 0 something because I've gone over right or left 0, but I have no idea the height of it, so I just call it maybe 0c. It just has to be something different than the a. That's all there is to this section. Your homework is on page 224 through 225, 10 through 24 even. Practice on it will make it seem easier.